Welcome back to Sports Talk is McKimmey, and we are just ticking away the night. We got too much time on our hands. This is the one and only Diamond David McBee, along with the weatherman Mike Hemme, and the one and only Joey Football. We are live in the Mojo Dojo, another Shaw Rental Enterprise, talking about the National Football League. And we left out the last segment.
Hey, you know what?
Talking about hits and misses.
I'm getting in right here. The weatherman, right? That's new. I told you this was going to happen tonight. I told you that it was going to rain, and so I have a new name.
Now, did you tell us about the weather being canceled, or was it the Weather Channel?
Weather.com told me, and then I told you. So,
well, I got to tell our listeners a little bit about it.
Right.
We tried going to the Yellowville Summit Panther football game. Mike, he loves to check the weather in advance. He's noticed it was 80%, 90% chance of rain. I'm like, I don't care. I'll stand out in the rain. Of course, we didn't realize the amount of lightning that was going to be there. So that's why we have so much time on our hands, because our game got canceled. We did a little road trip over to Walmart, went and got some Razorback ribs. And then now we are back at the Mojo Dojo talking a little NFL football. We got all night.
Well, you said it's a good thing that we got rained out or lightened out of this game because now we have too much time on our hands. But that's okay, because today with the NFL news, there's so much to talk about, Dave and Mike.
Well, and Joey, on break, you had mentioned a guy that's got a little too much time on his hand now because he lost his job today. And I'm talking about Greg Roman with the Buffalo Bills. You were talking about that at break, Joey.
Yeah, after an 0-2 start, they fire him. And one of the questions I asked you, Dave, during break was, okay, can we compare the two? Can we compare the Rams coach, because you guys were talking about in the last segment about the Mr. Fisher, Coach Fisher, his record less than what would you say? How would you say?
Hey, 27-37, 423 winning percentage.
Can we call it a good record?
Inept,
subpar at best.
I would call it inept. He's inept.
So is it fair to compare the two?
He's sadly he's probably the best Rams coach in the last 13, 14 years. But that's not saying
very much. But, well, like, Joey, I think there's two situations there. I think, number one, the situation in Buffalo, to me, is Rex Ryan feeling the heat. Roman, of course, he's the second highest paid, I believe actually he's the highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL. They're expecting playoffs this year. Coming off of an 8-8 season, Rex Ryan, similar to Jeff Fisher from earlier, he hasn't had a winning year in a long time. He started off 9-7, 11-5. Then as soon as HBO Hard Knocks decided to film him, his teams went down the toilet quick. And in Buffalo, I think he's feeling pressure. He is the general manager there. He made the decision on it. And I think they're pushing the panic button in Buffalo. But honestly, I think Jeff Fisher and Rex Ryan both highly overrated the last 5 years.
Yeah, you can't. I don't think we can argue with that, and personally, just besides all that, I just can hardly stand to look on the sidelines and see the Ryan brothers coaching. They are so annoying just on the sidelines and in press conferences. So even without what's happening on the field, I can't hardly pull for those teams. But I watched that game, and the offense was not the problem. So that move doesn't make any sense to me. The offense to me wasn't the issue. The defense was the problem. The defense allowed 30+ points to get scored on them. Buffalo scored 27 points. That's enough to win a game. It should be. It was enough for most teams this week to win a game.
Well, to me, I think, and Joe, I think that's a great question. I think Rex Ryan is trying to save his job right now. I think he's feeling the heat. If they don't make the playoffs this year, I don't know if Rex Ryan comes back for year 3. And, I do find that funny that the offensive coordinator is fired when they score 27 points, but their defensive coordinator...
31, I take that back, 31 points.
Okay, I'm sorry, 31. Mm. Well, their defensive coordinator I didn't hear any criticism from Rex Ryan towards the defense. Did you, Mike?
Well, that's what, Dave, I was sorry to butt in here, but
That's all right.
one of the headlines I saw was Ryan can't get it done. I'm going to quote this: "Strength of Rex Ryan's defense lets him down as Buffalo's Bills crumble." The mistakes and sloppy play doomed the Bills again, and like you said, it was a high-scoring affair for this game.
I think a lot of it is that it's who they lost to.
Mm-hmm.
Is that they lost to the Jets, and that's a team that Buffalo had won 5 straight against, and he really loves to beat them. Now Baltimore held Buffalo to 7 points in Week 1. So I guess that works its way into it, but it doesn't make this move just doesn't make sense after a 31-point performance. I mean, there were only 5 teams that scored. There were only. I take this. Let me rephrase it. There were only 5 teams that Buffalo would not have beat with 31 points in Week 1. So I mean, it really just doesn't make sense. And Baltimore holds you to 7 points. That is nothing to, be ashamed about, because they have a good defense year in and year out. Know that as a Steelers fan.
So back to what you were saying, Dave. Rex Ryan, is he on the hot seat? What do you think he's doing? Is he trying to protect a job?
Yeah, I think Rex Ryan, Joey, I think Rex Ryan is on the hot seat. Coming off of an 8-8 year, he hasn't had a winning record since, I think, 2010, 2009. I mean, I'd have to look at the numbers to be exact on it. He hasn't had a winning team in a long time. He has a team that should compete this year, and they're expecting 10-6, 11-5, and to start off 0-2. I think he's looking for someone to blame, and to me, I've never been a Rex Ryan fan. I think he's grossly overrated. I think he walked into some good teams that he had his first 2 years in the Jets. I think he's been exposed. He's nothing but a 500 coach, and to me, I think he's grossly overrated.
And he's not going to fire his brother, so the offensive coordinator was the only choice.
Someone had to go. He's not firing his brother. It's going to be the offensive coordinator.
And when we're talking NFL, we're talking about money. And for that money to be coming in, you've got to be pleasing the fans. And if they're not pleasing the fans, money's not coming in. Money's not coming in. That only means one thing. The owners of the Buffalo Bills, they've got to be let down and disappointed as well.
I'll tell you a game that I saw in Week 1 that I was really impressed by Alex Smith and Kansas City and the way that they came back against the Chargers. And the Chargers have become such choke artists the last few years. Philip Rivers is an excellent quarterback.
He's the best quarterback in the first 3 quarters of every game.
That's true. That's a perfect way to put it. But one thing that I noticed from week 1, it's going to be interesting to see this as the season plays out. Well, Cam Newton and the Panthers are not going to have to worry about going undefeated this year. And, Denver, the Peyton Manningless Denver Broncos, that's a game that that they wanted to win. They had it won. They blew it. It's really going to be interesting. But I'll tell you a player that is lighting it up. Jameis Winston in Tampa Bay. 4 touchdowns, along with what he can do with his feet. Impressive young rookie.
Well, Mike, speaking of lighting up, I think we're going to have to come back and do one more NFL section if you guys are up for it, because we haven't even got to the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, and the game that happened there. And we still got a couple more stories we can talk about the NFL. So we're going to actually come right back and talk about the Dallas Cowboys and also a few more games from Week 1.